Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. The New York Yankees are returning to the World Series for the first time in 15 years. Sorry, guard dogs. Chris Rose, old.
You know, I'm just happy for you. Throw the ball.
Tim Mesa.
Hanging curveballs. Oh my gosh.
Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball, presented to you by SeatGeek. Code JOHNBOY Playoffs 10. Go to a game. Go to a game in New York, in the Bronx, with SeatGeek code JOHNBOY Playoffs 10. It's going to be one of the last places you could see 2024 Major League Baseball. And like maybe I live in Denver. My Rocks aren't looking so hot right now. John Boy Playoffs 10 could get you to a concert. It could get you to a game next year. Add the code. Save yourself 10%. Trev, you are giggling like a little schoolgirl today. I think it's because it looks like I haven't slept in 2 weeks. And I think you had a big night last night. So how are you?
I definitely want to start by saying thank you and Beavers for getting up with me this morning. So I know you guys had a big night. And obviously, Jake, I mean, you have been just going nuts this month. So snaps.
Don't.
I mean that. You can shake your head all you want. The people love it. I did. I had a night last night, Jake. You know, it was Cole, Olivia, and I, and we found ourselves at dinner. Had a few drinks together, margarita, maybe nice cold Corona. Before we knew it, we were, rhythmic, and it's getting kind of hot. So I shedded a layer of clothing, and we're just kind of going back and forth. And before you knew it, it was over. But we wanted more, so there was an encore. And then Cole got an Uber and went home. We had a great night last night together.
Cole Tucker came home with you last night?
At a concert. People.
Oh.
I don't know where.
Yeah, I don't know. Everyone.
What were you thinking?
Felt like, I don't know. I think everyone had the word 3 on their mind for whatever reason. I don't know.
We went to. They would be right because we went to a 311 concert last night,
311,
and it was awesome.
No one cares, Trev. The Yankees are going to the World Series. Okay, they're back.
Since 2009, they haven't been there. Jake, you were a young fellow back then.
BBD was 4. It's wrong. BBD was 9.
I was 12.
Okay.
BBD was 12.
It was middle school, some formative years.
I was in college in hard-hitting New Britain. So were you. Was 09 a New Britain year for you?
I think I was already in Rochester at that point.
Wow.
Yeah,
I was making my way. Yeah, man. It was a fun one last night.
Yes.
Yankees guard dogs. Another good baseball game. And if anyone wants a mini State of the Union, you can get the long one over at Talkin' Yanks. But I mean, it's just a lot has happened since 2009, whether you just want to be baseball fan and whatever. If you're one of the people that enjoys our stuff, F the haters, yo. It's been a pretty wild ride for me, John Boy, aka Jimmy in some circles. King BBD, Zach, Kyle, a lot of early Bronx gang that took a chance on whatever we were doing. So it's a fun one. Spoilers, they win, but I do have a burn prepped.
Yes, you do.
And I'm excited to talk about the baseball. That's what I'm about. I don't care about any of the sensitive BS. Just ram it in there.
We had monologues right there. How about that?
A little bit. Maybe we've read the comments, people saying they'd listen to us talk about anything.
Maybe that's in the works.
If Cole and Olivia are involved, that gets. Let's get into the game. Game 5 in Cleveland with the Yankees, hoping they'd rode on to the World Series behind Carlos if they could win one more game against the Guardians and ruin all the bybies in Cleveland. Bottom 2, Bo knows. RBI double, scores his big bro. And then Rich Homie Quan says, baby, won't you come my way? It's 2-0 Guardians in the 5th. But right down the road from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it's time to hit the music. Giancarlo, let the rhythm take you over, Giancarlo. Take Hero homers. Like a good night out, we're tied up at 2s. It'd stay that way into the 10th. Buenos, Cantos, Austin goes to the Wells once more. Rocchio, no, he beefs another one. And the Bronx will always remember S-O-T-O, Soto. Isn't he lovely? Isn't he wonderful? To dead center, and the guards are dead central. Rodon to Leiter to Hill to Cousins to Weaver. The New York Yankees are going to the World Series. They beat the Guardians 5-2 and win the best of 5 series 4 games out of 1.
Man, oh man, oh man. Kind of a lot to
Right.
talk about, maybe strategy wise.
Please.
Yeah, I mean, look, this was, I guess, overall with the series here, I think Cleveland put together like, I mean, at times it didn't look pretty, but I would say kind of like a valiant effort.
Yeah.
Like this wasn't like a blowout series. I know 4-1 looks like it, but I don't think it necessarily was that. It was a couple pitches here and there, maybe a couple managerial decisions if we're kind of looking at it overall. I love my guy Stephen Vogt, but I think that, I mean, dude, if you're a Guardians fan, I don't know what your expectations were coming into the year. Um, I don't think they were that high. And this team became a juggernaut, dude. They were in first place the entire year.
Yeah.
And yeah, we always classify them as an underdog, but I think they have something special there. You know, the way they go about the game is awesome to watch. And man, they just fell short against the Yankees team. They got really hot and they got, you know, maybe 3-4 Hall of Famers in there on their roster right now. So
Yeah, you know,
I just wanted to
we
give Cleveland some credit and some love, man, because they did. I think if you watch this series, you have to enjoy the way they play baseball. And if you watch them throughout the year, it's a different brand of baseball, but it's fun.
as we'll, you know, we'll get into this game and then zoom out on the series a little bit and then probably tee up a little bit of the next step for the Yanks. You're right. I mean, the last 2 games were, I mean, the last 3 games were
Yeah.
absolutely electric. And a couple, I mean, like we talked about, the beauty of baseball or what keeps you up at night, you know, each of these games had cue balls that gets down or here's a bloop. And like, you know, that's how close these games were. On the other side, you know, I think the Guardians are a case study for bullpen usage. Like, doesn't matter how good your guys are, at a certain point in the postseason, to pitch 3 or 4 games in the 5 series, you know, you could be the best reliever in the game and you're probably going to get got once.
Is that your
Just,
takeaway on that situation? Because Chris Rose, the entire season was like, eventually these guys are going to run out of gas. Do you think
yeah,
they ran out of gas, or is it the overexposure? I think it's the stuff was still there. I think it was overexposure, some bad location. I'm trying to still kind of process, could it work again? Can you
right.
continue to do this year in and year out?
I think there's 2 different things. I think you mentioned, you know, the Guardians have a lot of young guys. They're, you know, 1 or 2 of them could not be their sharpest, but you risk that with any bullpen. So I don't know if that's just time of the season or that could be young, that could be old. Like, you know, that could go either way. Class A, I think that's its own case study. And it could also just be baseball being baseball. Like, for any reliever to have a 0.61 ERA or whatever, like that, in a not rude way to Class A, that comes with a little luck. Like, you know, like that, that's hard to maintain at a certain point. And I think it also goes to a little bit of the team you're playing, like that last at bat from Juan Soto. You know, I I think Hunter Gaddis would have got 95% of MLB hitters out probably, but that dude's different. So that's where I think if you're Cleveland, you could say some of the bullpen stuff. You can also say if they got more innings from starting pitchers, which, Tanner Bybee's first start, he got pulled very quick. So you could question some things of that nature. But on the other side of it, like baseball needs more stars. Baseball needs more, who's playing today? Oh, who's the best player on their team? The guys you'd point to on the New York Yankees are the guys you pointed to in every game. So I don't want to be doing big market BS, but Giancarlo Stanton, $300 million man, MVP, potential Hall of Famer. He won series MVP. Aaron Judge hit probably the biggest homer for the Yanks in this series. The Guardians end up washing it away. And then Juan Soto, man, he opened up the scoring last game and he finished the scoring this game. That I don't. Baseball's baseball. You roll it out there, and stuff can happen on any given night. But yeah, I think there's some bullpen overexposure, and the guys on the Yankees that did it are guys that the Cleveland Guardians currently don't have in their price range right now.
Yeah, I mean, a good hitter. I mean, an elite hitter, I should say. I mean, these guys are elite hitters. Like they're going to win some battles, and I think when you show them your pitches over, a 7-game series, the advantage goes even further because, like you mentioned, these guys are. I mean, Juan Soto's on track to be a Hall of Famer. Aaron Judge, Hall of Famer. Like we've talked about Giancarlo's status. So, yeah, I think that's a decent point. Like these guys are just really good hitters too, so you kind of have to tip your cap if you're Cleveland.
The two big at bats that this game kind of ends up coming down to, the Guardians get too early, and they had a chance to open it up a little more.
Can we chalk Torres first inning? Is that bad base running or is that
Trevor?
Bad third base coaching?
You're not going to like my answer, but I'll try to lay it out for the people. First inning, a potential elimination game. Yankees, Gleyber Torres leads off, gets the hit. Juan Soto comes up, ball in the gap. It's dribbling past Big Christmas. And if you know anything, Gleyber Torres has a not great base running career. He's not fleet of foot.
He didn't look fleet of foot.
He is not fleet of foot in the nicest way, and he's not known for his base running. Big Christmas, who's making the throw from the outfield, his defensive, what he is known for is his arm strength. And the Yankees have Judge and Stanton coming up. So the relay ends up going from Giancarlo Noel to Andres Jimenez, who is one of the best fielders in the game. So that's something that should be taken in consideration. So I have it as 50%. I have it as 50-50, third base coach and Gleyber Torres. And I know you may not like that answer. But you probably don't need to send him, right? It's Aaron Judge. It's Aaron Judge and it's Stanton coming up. So if you have someone like Gleyber Torres running the bases and it's going to be close, you probably don't have to send it. That being said, BBD, if you could show one more time, when Gleyber rounds third, after he's rounded third and got the go sign, he watches the play.
I never understood that. How guys can do that.
You can't, because it slows you down. It's the same thing as catching a fly ball. Like if you put your head down and run, you're going to cover more ground than tilting and running. And he gets out by a half step that it's like, dude, what are you doing? So I think they should both share it because, again, we talk in the playoff games. If you get that first run, it could have been 1-0 with Judge and Stan coming up. I don't know. It ends up not hurting them. But, yeah, these Yankees had a lot of outs on the bases this series.
I was talking about that at dinner with Cole last night. We started talking about base running. I was like, dude, like practicing base running is gone. I was like, when I would hit BP, we'd have to take the lap around the bases, see a couple balls at first, couple balls at second. Teams really don't do that anymore. They don't. I think it's they feel like it's a safety issue for them now. The guys hitting BP, so people don't even take ground balls necessarily during BP anymore. They take it before it starts. But then Cole's like, no, dude, you know who practices base running? He goes, the shitty teams. He goes, the
Yeah.
Angels practice base running. I was like, what do you mean? You guys went out there and got reads? He said, yeah, like Ron Washington. So old school manager, bad young team. They're practicing base running, I guess. Yankees not practicing base running. Because even like you could talk about him looking at the ball, but like the angles are bad too. They're not sharp. And
Right.
in these situations, like this much means everything. I just thought it was funny that the game started out like that.
Yeah, and hey, for the Guardians, you let Bybee off the hook, who he ends up looking pretty good in this game. Because they get out of that clean that you're like, okay,
Dude, he
it
looks
goes.
great. He's a dog.
Yeah, and this is going to be a big learning game from him because the two at bats that I was teeing up, um, they go up 2-0. Guard dogs happening. Shout out to Mark Leiter Jr. if I haven't already, because he got thrown on the roster. They throw Mark Leiter Jr. on the roster because Hamilton goes down. Sorry, I'm starting a new Red Sox podcast this offseason. It's only about their off seasons. Hello. Giancarlo Stanton comes up, the bad man, the man who is lined up to win CS MVP, and it's Bybee's third time through the lineup, and they have 2 outs, a runner on third after they get a big double play ball, and man, so the Guardians have the brother combination of Josh and Bo Naylor, which is
Drove in
sick.
the first run, dude. That was
We
crazy.
we get jealous about. I don't have a brother.
Me
You
and you
do.
together.
Yeah, that's
I drive you in, you drive me in. Oh,
Warehouse Games, Blitzball Battle 5. Go check it out. November 4th. It's back. Dude, the Venezuelan double play combo of Jimenez and Rocchio.
oh,
It's electric. Now Rocchio is probably in Cleveland and New York going to be remembered for a couple misplays, unfortunately. But they are an electric combo up the middle, and that's how the Guardians win. Anyways, they get a double play ball on Judge. Here comes Stanton, 2 outs. Jazz Chisholm on deck, who has been struggling this series. Bybee's third time through the lineup. Trev, on this episode of Sequence, you would be too much testosterone. You wouldn't. You'd say, Cole, get out of here. I can handle live by myself. He baits.
God, what the fuck?
He swings at 2 balls out of the zone to start the at bat. Curveball way off. Another pitch way down. 0-2. They proceed to throw 3 more balls that Stanton takes. Only like one was borderline. Or not borderline, but like a good take. Like these are balls. They've been told to pitch around Stanton. 3-2. You can't hang the fastball. Hangs the curveball. I don't know if they got greedy and wanted it, but you can't be in the zone there. And I think that's going to go down as a lesson. If you are in a situation where you throw up the 4s and you think it's like, whoa, are we insulting the on-deck batter? Yes. And that's okay. Because if you're thinking about walking that guy, that's because that's the guy that can't beat you. And he did.
I have so many thoughts on this. I kind of want to start off in general. I think the intentional walk is bad for baseball. I'm not into it.
It is.
I think we again are entertainment business, and if you're taking the entertainment out of your business, it's not good. So I hate it. I understand if you didn't have it, you could still just pitch around. I get that. Anyways, yes, you look at that situation, it's already happened. What was it? Game 4. Game 4. He comes up. Cade Smith doesn't walk him with a chance to load the base to set up a double play. Doesn't walk him. He gets him. Okay. Cade Smith, strikeout guy, whatever. Same situation or different situation, but kind of same situation. Open base. Who was behind him? Chisholm last night was behind him.
Yep.
If you're pitching around somebody, just walk them. That's my thing. If you're gonna say, hey, let's not give him anything good to hit, let's try to get him the chase, I would just say, let's walk him. because a backup curveball can happen. And that's another thing in this at bat. Giancarlo struck out twice against Bybee. Probably a reason that Vogt wanted to stick with his guy. Hey, he's done it twice already. He hasn't looked good against him. Let's go try to get this out. I think Vogt will learn from this as well. Like he's a player's guy. He's like, I'm going to have my guys back. I'm going to do it. And actually, like, honestly, I respect that. And again, because I want it to be entertainment, I'm actually glad he didn't walk him, but that's a different story. He's going to learn that he's got to make decisions not based on, hey, I want my guys to feel like I have their back. There are times where the game's right in front of you and you got to just make the right call. Pitch selection for me was weird because he had struck him out on cutters, first two at bats. Go check out Stanton's Savant page. It's his worst pitch. It's 100 against it. It's -5 run value. We don't see a fastball or a cutter in this at bat. It's sliders, it's changeups, and then the hanging breaking ball. Stanton crushes breaking balls. And I think if you get him in that cadence where he's back and he's got time, if you hang one, he's not going to miss it. So I thought there was a lot of, you should have walked him. And the pitch selection to me was, I think, poor. He strikes out in his fourth at bat against Clase to a cutter. Like he doesn't like that pitch. And I know like it's third time through and you got to change up, but he's shown that that's not a pitch he enjoys. You didn't even throw it to him once in that at bat. And here we are.
It's well, A, the whole series sucks for Guardians fans, but B, hey, maybe these baby guards learn and it's next year, or it's 2 years or whatever. But yeah, that's one that it stinks that Tanner Bybee's line finishes where it does, because he had the Yankees shut out. He like got into the rhythm. Like the playoffs move fast, and especially when you're playing a team like the Yankees where the lineup is so top heavy right now. That first inning is always tough for pitchers. That first inning gets real tough for pitchers when Gleyber Torres is unconscious right now.
He's been crazy.
Juan Soto is Juan Soto. We'll get to him in a second. And then it's Judge and Stanton. So like, okay, if you're not locked in that first inning, you're going to have a bad time. He like got his rhythm. And he was cruising more or less. That it's tough that his start goes down that way. I mean, Rodon was kind of similar on the other side. He lands on 4.2. That last out Judge, because he's playing center field, people, which I'm saying as a compliment to him in a rude way to the Yankees. Like, get this big fella out of center field. That'll be a postseason app. The bullpens come in, and it is tired, fatigued bullpens, but they're doing their job. Tim Herron with some he had maybe the best bullpen series for the Guardians, the lefty for them. Clase comes in and has the shutdown inning. The Yankees are out here, and this is where I kept saying in this series, it's Yankees early, it's Guardians late. The Yankees are fighting with Jake Cousins, Mark Leiter Jr., Tim Hill pitched all 5 games in this series, and we were laughing on the live stream, and we're saying, well, Tim Hill's got a rubber arm, and it's like, does he? Is that just a generic sidewinder stereotype that we've done for 3 decades? I don't know, but it sets up the Soto at bat at the end that I don't know if you want to go or what.
Tim Hill rubber arm. I want to look into that. I feel like every team needs a big, lanky lefty, right? Every team needs that. I would go after him. Soto at bat. This is, it's one for the ages. It really is. I mean, the pitch sequence was, again, kind of interesting to me. Obviously, when you're facing Hunter Gaddis, that changeup is nasty. And he throws him 3 sliders in a row, 2 changeups in a row, a slider, and then tries to sneak a piece of cheese. And honestly, like, it's not a bad pitch, dude. No. Like 1-2, it's 95 at the top of the zone. But that's Juan Soto, man. And I saw this live again. We were at dinner. Keep saying that. And the whole place. We were at this Mexican restaurant. The whole place went crazy. It was pretty cool to see, man. This is like power on power. This is what baseball is supposed to be. Obviously, one team hates it, another team loves it, but it was a moment, dude. Like Juan Soto, who, Brian Cashman goes out and gets this guy. And it's for 1 year. Could be for more, but he goes out and gets him because they want to go to the World Series in the worst way, and he is the guy that sends them to the World Series. I think you got to like give some snaps to Cashman for going out and getting his guy, okay? But also Juan Soto has been worth every freaking prospect. He's worth every penny. At bats like that in the biggest moment, it goes to him and he gets it done. I mean, it's awesome, man. It was a monumental at bat, and every single time he does something like that, you just hear cha-ching, cha-ching. Like you can't let him out of the pinstripes, Jake.
Yeah, it was, during their celebration last night. I think during the regular season, there's when players do interview, there's, it's a little bit of respect for Juan's business, and it's a little bit, you don't want to be going in post games and basically telling your employer that you're going to have to pay someone $700 million. During the celebration last night, that wasn't the Yankees quotes. I think Jazz threw a 700 mil out. Stanton was like, he's going to
They
stay.
were saying that?
We need to bring him home. So, yeah, that'll be that's going to be a big one this offseason, because I know there's a couple teams, another one in New York, that really wants that guy. That's currently none of my business.
It's just so cool that it was him.
Yeah.
In that moment.
Well, dude, that's what I know. I already did this, but Soto hits, the home run to send them to the World Series. Stanton wins Series MVP and hits a couple iconic homers. And Judge had their biggest comeback of these playoffs home run that, I'm even laughing right now that I was laughing, but it's a reminder why people should hate the Yankees or don't like the Yankees. Carlos Rodon started this game. Like, he got 170 mil to come over and wear the pinstripes. Giancarlo has made 300 or whatever it is. Judge has 360 coming his way. Soto's about to have 600 mil coming his way, and that's why they were one of the few teams that would trade for him on a 1-year contract. So as a general sports fan, like someone excited to see Chris Rose calling a bad Jaguars Patriots game today on my TV.
I knew you were up already.
Like I get it sometimes, but on the other side of it, when I get comments and replies to tweets and YouTube videos, you stupid Yankee fans, and the Yankees buy their team. Well, hey, if I'm going to get that, they better win. And they haven't been to a World Series in 15 years. So, on the other side of those, 4 $300 million men, Garrett Cole not mentioned, lined up for the next start. The bullpen today, I just want to say it again. Mark Leiter Jr., Tim Hill, Jake Cousins, and Luke Weaver. So that's where the Yankees deserve credit. Tim Hill was released by the White Sox. Mark Leiter Jr. they traded for. He had a bad time. Jake Cousins, I think, was an anyone can have this guy.
Yep.
And then Luke Weaver was like arguably the worst starting pitcher in baseball for 6-7 years. And he is having this reliever rebirth that is unbelievable.
I mean, so even more snaps for our guy Cashman. I feel like he's been getting a ton of heat. But you just named a bunch of guys that he brought in.
Oh, yeah.
That anybody could have had. Bieber's just saying Cousins and Hill were both cut by the White Sox. The White Sox are just, oh my gosh, dude.
I'm starting to are they for sale? Do we need to get in the mix there?
They are. Dave Stewart's trying to buy any team. There's something going on there that we need to look into.
Is he loaded?
Don't you? No, I think he just like is boys with loaded people. I think he is. I think he's like a businessman, so he's got some money. But
okay,
I think he's got his dogs around him.
He's the foot in the door.
Yeah, I'm trying to be Dave Stewart later on in my life. I want to put together an ownership group.
Yeah, I need that, dude.
Me, you, and Zach. Zach will be the head.
I'll throw 5.
Yeah, Beebs are in, but we
He's
gotta have
in.
Zach at the face. Yeah.
The body and the face.
Just a bunch of goth girls coming to our games every day. Wait, I want to talk one more thing. And this is a question to Guardians fans a little bit. How are we going to remember Brayan Rocchio this year? Like, obviously, I think he had a great playoffs offensively. And from what we've seen, he's great. I do remember Chris Rose telling me there are times where he gets a little squirrely on defense. We saw that this series. We saw that 2 batters before Soto. You know, he tries to go real quick there to get Verdugo. I don't think he really had a chance. He had to be perfect. But you know what, dude? If you're that freaking good, go try to be perfect. You know, they always say, don't be perfect, just get one out. When you're that freaking good, go be perfect. Like, I don't mind him trying to go quick there. You know, doesn't get the job done. Gleyber ends up striking out, ending over if he just takes the out. So Soto doesn't even get the at-bat.
Right.
Against Gaddis. That's kind of, you know, you look back and like, gosh, man. But when you watch them together, like you mentioned before, him and Jimenez, it's a thing of beauty, dude. It's like one of baseball's beautiful things that we haven't had necessarily in a while, or don't talk about it as much anymore, is like a pair of middle infielders and the bond that they have, and like when they're working together, what it looks like. I'm just curious, like what the overall feeling is out there. Maybe we should wait to talk about that because there's probably a little bit of resentment right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's tough because you laid out a good argument there. Like, hey, these guys were putting on a clinic. Like, these guys were making want to play defense up the middle DVD for a bit. So yeah, you kind of get the kid going for it, but also, yeah, you know, our John Boy Media's deep dive analyzer, John Boy, was looking at it, and he was pretty firm they're not turning that. So that's where the other side, you could just say, hey, you're a young player in a big moment. You got to know you need one, like, you know, and it's a ball player trying to make a play. So that's where I think you're right as well, that it's like, you know, that's what
He's
you want to
23 years old.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, the guard dogs, it's obviously, you know, the next steps, they're going to be a fun team to talk about next year. They're going to need guys like Manzardo to take a leap, and a full year of Lane Thomas, and a little more meat in the lineup. Like, can Noel step up? But yeah, I mean, they got the full taste of baseball in this one, because Bo Naylor goes from being the opposite of a threat, I think 0 for 20, 0 for 22, and then he locked in, and he was
locked in,
one of the toughest outs on the team. So that's where these playoff series can move quick, and it's kind of where I started with the Yankees, but their star power showing out. I mean, it's obviously I'm a Yankees fan, but it's what you want. You know, like, that's supposed to be the difference. That's when we look at these teams like, oh yeah, the all of the best players played really well, and that's what won them the games. Analytics.
Boom.
Trev, let's do maybe one last guards soliloquy and tee up the World Series Yankees a little more. And it's brought to you by Mountain Dew. Get off your ass. This Sunday, I'm doing the dew. I'm gonna walk around. We've got one of the. Seems like the weather gods are telling New York City it's going to be one of the last good weather weekends of the year. That I think I need to get off my ass, grab a Mountain Dew, maybe walk around Central Park. Oh, big Yankees hoodie on. The refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew. It makes you feel like you're on an actual mountain. So whatever you're into, get outside. Grab a Mountain Dew, go for a hike, take a Mountain Dew on a mountain, drink a Mountain Dew. That's a mountain on a mountain. So go do the dew. If you can't find some, I don't know, people, DMBBD. It's Mountain Dew. It's everywhere. Trev, any last Guardians notes before a little more Yanks?
I think we covered most of it, man. I think they're going to be a curious team in the offseason, see what they do. I think they probably, they're a pitching factory, I guess you would say. So, get some guys back from injuries. Maybe they go and look at some guy that's pitching in Korea right now. I feel like that's the lane they always take. And go find some guy that's doing well in Korea and bring him back over to the States, and he'll have a 3-3 and things will be good. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious to see what they do during the offseason.
Yeah, and I mean, how quickly were the Guardians the starting pitching factory that it was like, when are they going to have, you know, other parts of their team? And now, I mean, they were hunting for starting pitching innings. Alex Cobb started this series.
Yeah.
Matt Boyd gives them the other like good start of this series. That
I mean, Tanner Bybee looks like, dude, that guy is ready.
he's a fun pitcher, man. I don't want to throw out a Zach Gallen comparison because Gallen's been incredible. But he's, it's not over the top like guy steps on the mound and you're like, whoa, what was that pitch? But he's got an arsenal. He actually pitches out there. Like, my no shots fired at my guy Tommy Canley out of the bullpen. I think his last 43 pitches have been changeups now. um, Baseball's in a weird spot.
It's crazy.
It's nuts.
It's really, really funny from a big old dude like that too.
Is it even a changeup at that point?
I
That's
don't
one of the.
know.
It's one of those baseball like is a hot dog a sandwich
That's
thing.
just his pitch. Just call it his pitch.
Right? It's not a changeup.
For Tanner Bybee, I mean, it kind of seems like it's out of nowhere, but rookie of the year 2 last year. He pitched 142 innings last year as a 23-year-old, 173 and 2/3 this year, plus the postseason. Like, this guy's been a dog, dude. Like, this is Cleveland has one here. Now go get another one. Like I said, go shop in Korea. Get a discount sometimes.
God, it's yeah, and you forget. I mean, remember Shane Bieber before the year? How much we talked about were they going to trade him in his last year or let it ride? He gets Tommy John before the season. Our guy Sticks McKenzie had a tough year.
Yep.
Logan Allen was supposed to be a guy for them. So it's the depth you need in baseball. And Dodger fans are saying the same thing about their starters, but that's also where your budget kicks in a little bit. That the Dodgers were able to bring in a couple more guys. Cookie Carrasco pitch for them this year. We knew
he's always going to pitch for them.
We knew that. Another Venezuelan. We went deep down a Venezuela wormhole during the live stream last
Shout
night.
out Caracas.
Great baseball country.
Marquise Miano,
Trev, the New York Yankees. And I before, I don't want to get too obnoxious for the people. You can go check that on Talkin Yanks. Just a couple other things that I think need to be highlighted.
Okay.
The Italian Anthony's, Trev.
Okay.
Anthony Rizzo, the guy, this statue guy in Chicago at some point. It's coming. He gets hit in the hand right before the playoffs, 2 broken bones in his hand. He misses the Royal Series. Kind of a surprise ad this series. Hey, man, Trev, I don't know if it's something that should be talked about or not talked about. Someone made the joke, and I started thinking about it. They were like, hey, Rizzo's had a couple weird defensive ones, and he's getting subbed out for Oswaldo Cabrera. It could be Father Time. It could be something else with the hand. Someone jokingly was like, I think my dude is, he's getting some medical assistance to get through these games, that he might be a little hopped up and his defense is coming off a little weird. He hit the best he has all season in this series, so there's that. And then Anthony Volpe, dude, the young shortstop who Yankee fans have, come to grips with, like, all right, maybe he's a D for shortstop and that's a valuable player. But, we were promised a lot when we were passing on Corey Seager and Correa and all that. His at-bats this entire postseason have been so in control that they are the 2 down at the bottom of the lineup that have kind of flipped it and kept them a threat almost every inning.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have that. Uh, for a postseason run, you have to have guys at least putting up good at bats at the bottom of the lineup. That's kind of what I would think. You know, obviously you want the production, you want the result, but if people at the bottom of the lineup are having good at bats, making pitchers work, you know, getting on, moving over, whatever it is, I think that's what you need. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I think watching Volpe now, I don't know if it is the adrenaline or the situation, but having him like lock in a little bit more, I think you learn things like that in the postseason that you can carry on later, like that intense focus. You can only really get it
Right.
in the postseason. Um, but yeah, Rizzo, that's an interesting take on that little loopy out there dealing with some pain. Yeah, I mean, you're going to get, I'm trying to think like what he would, you're going to get something to help you with the pain. There's no doubt about it. What affect your faculties more on defense than hitting? I don't know, man. That's interesting.
Something to
Maybe for
think
him.
about.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it's where
Maybe he's
baseball
just drinking some red wine back there, you
it's
know?
it's where baseball's a sick sport, and it's why we love the people that tune in to talking baseball regularly. But it'd just be funny if, all right, you hopped into this playoff game. Maybe you haven't been locked in on baseball. You put on the Yankees. Anthony Rizzo, you see Marcus Stroman's on the roster. Marcus Stroman doesn't pitch in this series. You're like, hey, is he the Yankees too? And Anthony Rizzo's getting defensive replaced by Oswaldo Cabrera. Like, it's where baseball is a sick sport that moves fast, especially this time of year, where whatever the move is, you got to make it. Otherwise, your season can end quick.
It's like the Dodgers we were talking about that. It was Kike and Edmund right in the middle of their lineup. Like that's just okay. Here we go.
We will get to see Dodgers Mets tonight.
Yes.
My goodness.
Yes.
Haven't even
Bullpen
wrapped
game versus Manaya
haven't
in
even wrapped
LA.
my
It's a
head around that.
beautiful day.
Oh, we love
I'm getting
that.
blasted by the sun. I was earlier in the show. I mean, it's clear, it's sunny. It is going to be a perfect day for some baseball out here.
I like that. And yeah, I no need to get the waterworks going, but if anyone has no idea, all of this kind of started with the Yankees and Jimmy going on Twitter and Jimmy saying, "Hey, they want a podcast. Let's do a podcast." I said, "Okay." And it has evolved into so much more between talking baseball, the breakdowns, obviously, the warehouse games, and what this whole company has turned into. And it's all because people are still into it. So I get there's some people that struggle to like the Yankees for a lot of reasons. And that's currently none of my business. But thank you guys for all the support and every like. And if you buy a shirt or you watch something else we do, everything helps out. And it was a fun one last night. It was a fun one last night.
I echo that sentiment. I really do appreciate the support. We're coming down to the nitty gritty. Every time we get to this point in the season, we're like, man, it's a long trek. We do a lot of shows, Pop, every single year. Um, but we love doing it because of our community, our interactions. And then you get a little sentimental because we're getting close to closing time for the season. But I am happy for Yankee fans. I think they sometimes think of me as an antagonist. I'm just trying to balance out the
Right.
show a little bit. I love Aaron Judge and what he does for New York, and I'm happy for the Yankees and Yankees fans. It's been a while, 15 years, bro.
Right.
That's not like some short amount of time. That's Bieber's was 3 years old, right? That's what you said
Bieber was
earlier.
3. Bieber didn't have a beard yet. People don't remember that.
Zach was a baby with like the hugest hog. Just
Jimmy, Jimmy's got 2 kids now, emotional guy. What's he thinking about? The first Talking Yanks episode I recorded with Jimmy, we just got Noodle. We were at a rooftop
yeah, I
party. I
remember
pretended to
that.
throw him off the roof. Jess started bawling. I said, "Okay, I found the line. That's a joke I
She
can't
started
make."
crying after you faked it. I mean, that's not like I wouldn't do that. That's bad.
I thought it was tasteful. I said, "Everyone say goodbye to Noodle," and I did a
How
prank.
close were you?
I mean, like, I didn't release him. He was never
You
over the
thank God.
boundary. There's That's a joke you can't do, I found out. And
One and
sometimes
done. One and done.
sometimes that's how you learn in this life. Anything else, Coach Trev?
Love you guys. You're a beast, Jake.
We will see you guys tomorrow a.m., I believe. And we'll either know the World Series matchup or we'll be getting ready for a Game 7.
Jake sucks.
Happy for you guys, man. Yankees have a long time off, almost a week.
Yeah. A little surprising. Whatever.
Well,
Sleep.